Hello students, welcome back to our channel. இந்த வீடியோவில் நம்ம என்ன பார்க்க போகிறோம்னா 10th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கான இங்கிலீஷ் எக்ஸாம் பப்ளிக் எக்ஸாம்க்கான இங்கிலீஷ் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ப்ரோஸ் 2 மார்க்ஸ் தான் பார்க்க போகிறோம். இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கொஷின்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு பார்த்திங்கன்னா ப்ரீவியஸ் கொஷின் பேப்பர்ஸில் இருந்தும் நாங்கள் எடுத்திருக்கோம். ஸோ இது பார்த்திங்கனாவே மோஸ்ட்டாக நீங்கள் 2 மார்க்ஸ் வந்து அட்டன் பண்ணுற மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். உங்களுக்கு வந்து பார்ட் 2ல் வந்து செக்ஷன் 1ல் ப்ரோஸ் 2 மார்க்ஸ் கேட்டிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ நீங்கள் 3 அட்டன் பண்ணுவீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ இதுலேருந்து பார்த்திங்கனாவே உங்களுக்கு மோஸ்ட்டாக அட்டன் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸோ எல்லா இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் 2 மார்க்ஸும் கொடுத்துருக்கோம். ஸோ இட் வில் பி வெரி யூஸ்ஃபுல் ஃபார் யூ. ஓகே ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், வித்தவுட் வேஸ்டிங் எனி மோர் டைம் லெட்ஸ் கெட் இன்டு த வீடியோ. ஒன் பை ஒன் எல்லா கொஷின்ஸுமே உங்களுக்கு பார்க்கலாம். நம்ம லெசன் பை லெசன் உங்களுக்கு கொடுத்துருக்கோம். ஓகே ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லெசனில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரைட் லெசன். அதில் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஷின், why did the seagull fail to fly? Why did the seagull fail to fly? The seagull failed to fly because he was afraid to fly. Next, second question, what did the parents do when the young seagull failed to fly? His parents called him shrilly. They scolded and threatened to let him stop. நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நீங்கள் 2 மார்க்ஸ் எழுதும்போது 2 பாயிண்ட்ஸ் போட்டு எழுதுங்க. பாயிண்ட்ஸ் புல்லட்டின் பாயிண்ட்ஸ் ஸ்டார் எதுனா போட்டு பாயிண்ட்ஸ் போட்டு 2 பாயிண்ட்ஸ் and 3 பாயிண்ட்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி எழுதிக்கோங்க. Next, what did the young seagull manage to find in his search for food on the ledge? The young seagull managed to find the dry piece of eggshell to eat. Next, what made the young seagull go mad? The sight of food made the young seagull go mad. The sight of food. Next, why did the young bird utter a joyful scream? The seagull's mother showed him food, so the young seagull uttered a joyful scream. Next, what did the young bird's family do when he started flying? His father and mother flew over him screaming. His 2 brothers and sister were flying around him, soaring and diving. Next, how was the young seagull's first attempt to fly? The young seagull was afraid. He felt that his wings would never support him, so he was desperate. What prompted the young seagull to fly finally? The young seagull was maddened by hunger. He wanted his mother to offer him the fish. This made him dive at the fish. Okay students, நம்ம first lesson பார்த்துட்டோம். இப்போ second lesson பார்க்கலாம். Second lesson, the night the ghost got in. அதில் வந்து first question என்ன இருக்குது? Where was the author when he heard the noise? The author had just stepped out of the bathtub when he heard the noise. Next, what did the narrator think the unusual sound was? The narrator thought that the unusual sound was that of a ghost. Next, what was the various sounds the brothers heard when they went downstairs? When the brothers went downstairs, they heard the steps like a running man running. Okay. What did the Bordwells think when they heard the mother shout? The Bordwells thought that there were burglars in their house. Burglars, thieves வந்துட்டாங்க அப்படின்னு நினச்சாங்க. Next, what conclusions did grandfather jump to when he saw the cops? The grandfather thought that the cops were all deserters from General Meade's army. Deserters from General Meade's army நினச்சார் grandfather. Next, what do you understand by the mother's act of throwing the shoe? I feel that the mother's act of throwing the shoe was incomparable. It was unwanted and unnecessary at that moment. தேவையில்லாமல் இருந்துச்சு. Why do you think Mrs. Bordwell wanted to sell the house? Mrs. Bordwell wanted to sell the house because her husband had mild attacks earlier. Why were the policeman prevented from entering grandfather's room? The grandfather was going through fits and he may be shocked to see them at night, so the policemen were prevented from entering grandfather's room. Okay students, இதோட நம்ம செகண்ட் லெசன் முடிச்சிட்டோம். நெக்ஸ்ட் லெசன் 3ல இருக்க இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கொஷின்ஸ் பார்க்கலாம். எம்பவர்ட் விமன் நேவிகேட்டிங் த வேர்ல்ட். இதில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஷின், who is Tara Tarni? After whom was a sailboat named? Tara Tarni is the second sailboat of the Indian Army. The boat was named after the famous Tara Tarni Temple of Odisha. இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கொஷின். Tara Tarni is the second sailboat of the Indian Navy. The boat was named after the famous Tara Tarni Temple of Odisha. அது என்னது? sailboat of the Indian Navy. Okay students. Next, what did they witness the brilliant southern lights from the sea? How did the sky appear here? When they were crossing the Tasman Sea, they witnessed the southern lights from the sea. The sky was lit up with green light. Next, what does the term circumnavigation mean? Circumnavigation means sailing or traveling. Circumnavigation means sailing or traveling all around the world. Sailing or traveling all around the world. That's circumnavigation. What sort of training did the crew undergo before the expedition? The crew underwent some theoretical courses on navigation, communication, and weather prediction. Course navigation, communication, and weather prediction. Then they took training like how to repair things and to deal with emergencies. Next, what challenging tasks did the team face during their voyage? They faced a storm in the South Pacific. The sea turned rough and the wind speed was up to 60 to 70 knots. They faced a storm in South Pacific. The sea turned rough and wind speed was up to 60 to 70 knots. Next, which factor motivated the crew to undertake this expedition? They decided to show women empowerment to the country by Nari Shakti, women power. It motivated the crew to undertake this expedition. And also all the people, they were expecting them and they were watching them and they were praying for them, for the crew. You can earn this point also is the answer. Okay students, next lesson போலாம். Next lesson பார்த்தீங்கன்னா lesson for the attic. Interesting lesson. இதில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா first question, why did Aditya think that the school would not be recognizable? The school had undergone many changes, so Aditya thought that the school would not be recognizable. School had undergone many changes. அதனால he thought நம்மளால recognize பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு Aditya thought. How was the landscape through which they travelled? The landscape through which they travelled were with paddy fields on either sides of the road. Either sides of the road or ரெண்டு சைடுமே என்ன இருந்துச்சாம், paddy fields இருந்துச்சாம். What did Nagan uncle tell about Sanyal? Nagan uncle told that Sanyal was short of sight and hearing. He had no money to buy spectacles. Excuse me. Next question, why was the attic a favorite place for the children? The children feel, I think this is F. The children feel to be in a world of their own, away from the adult world. So attic was their favorite place. Next, what did Aditya do on reaching the attic? On reaching the attic, Aditya searched for an article and found it on the top of the packing case in the attic. Next, what was the condition of the attic? The attic had probably been the worst hit by wind and weather. The floor was strewn with twigs and straw and pigeon droppings. Next, why was Aditya and his friend go to the jeweler? I think it should be why did Aditya and his friend go to the jeweler? Aditya and his friend went to a jeweler to find out the weight of the antique medal. Why did they go? To find out the weight of the antique medal. Next, fourth lesson being completed. Next, fifth lesson, tech bloomers. The lesson like questions பார்க்கலாம். What is the future of technology? In the future, we may find most of the human jobs being placed by robots using artificial intelligence. Next, how many people in India suffer with disability? According to the 2011 census, 2.7 crore people suffer with disability. How many? 2.7 crore people suffer with disability. How does Kim help Alicia? Kim shows her how to train Dragon Dictate to understand her voice. Now she uses it in class and at home, as well for doing GCSE maths. Okay, uses it in class and at home as well for doing GCSE maths. Okay, next, what devices help David to move from one place to other? ACC and ECO2 helps David to move from one place to another. What are the benefits of the internet to the common man? The benefits of the internet to the common man are that it gives instant access and provides endless supply of knowledge and entertainment. How does David operate computers with the Liberator communication device? See, LCD. David operates computers with his eye movements using Liberator communication device. The Bluetooth adapter helps him send commands to his PC or Mac. Next, name any few Indian innovations which are helpful to the disabled and make their day-to-day life easier. Former President APJ Abdul Kalam developed lightweight prosthetics from space-age material to enable the disabled children. Lacan shoes by Cripian Lawrence. Blee watch by industrial designers Nukura Kirloskar and Jahnavi Joshi of Mumbai and IGEST by Anil Prabhakar are some of the Indian innovations useful to the disabled. Okay, next, how would you help the people with disabilities in your neighborhood? I would help them as equals. I would educate them about the modern technologies to overcome their disabilities. Next, lesson 6, the last lesson. But we have another one lesson, plus 7th lesson. This is our 6th lesson. What was the usual scene when school began every day? When school, first lesson letter should be capital. When school began, there was a great commotion which could be heard out in the street. Students would open and close the desks and would repeat lessons in union very loud, and the teacher would go around with a great ruler rapping on the table. I think it would be tapping on the table. Next, what was Franz asked to tell? Was he able to answer? Franz was asked to tell the rules of participles and he was not able to answer the question. He was asked to tell rules of participle. He was not able to answer the question. What did M. Hamel say about the French language? Teacher said that the French language was the most beautiful, clearest and most logical language of the world. What did M. Hamel say about French language? M. Hamel said that the French language was most beautiful, clearest and most logical language of the world. How many years had M. Hamel been in the village? M. Hamel had been in the village for 40 years. How many? 40 years. Why did Franz dread to go to school that day? Franz did not study participles and the teacher would ask questions on participles, so he was afraid to go to school. He did not study participles. That was the reason why he didn't go to school. Next, what was Franz sorry for? Franz was sorry for having not learned French properly. What were the thoughts of the narrator's parents? The narrator's parents thought that it would be better to go to work and earn some extra money than to learn French. They thought that it would be better to go to work and earn some extra money than to learn French. Okay, last question. When and how did M. Hamel bid farewell to the class? When the bell struck 12, he stood up. He addressed the class as friends and wrote on the board with chalk, "Viva la France." Then he said the class was dismissed. I think this is D. Okay, students. Next lesson. The last lesson, the dying detective. Why didn't the landlady call the doctor? Holmes did not allow the landlady to call the doctor. She did not want to disobey Holmes. Holmes did not allow. Okay. Next, who did Watson see when he entered the room? Watson saw a small black and white ivory box with sliding lid when he entered the room. I think the question should be, what did Watson see? Watson saw a small black and white ivory box with sliding lid when he entered the room. Next, who was responsible for Victor Savage's death? What was the evidence for it? Smith was responsible. Who was responsible? Smith. Smith was responsible for Victor Savage's death. His self-proclamation was the evidence for it. I think there will be a gap here. Self-proclamation was the evidence for it. Next, how was Holmes able to look sick? Holmes did not eat for 3 days. He did not eat for 3 days and he did some makeup to look sick. Next, why didn't Holmes let Watson examine him? Actually, Holmes was not sick. He pretended to be sick to solve a murder case. So he did not let Watson examine him. Okay. Why didn't Holmes let Watson examine him? He was not sick. He pretended to be sick. அவருக்கு உடம்பு சரியாமல் இல்லை, அவங்க நல்லா தான் இருந்தார். ஆனால் ஒரு மர்டர் கேஸை இன்வெஸ்டிகேட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக அவர் சிக்காக இருக்க மாதிரி நடிச்சிட்டு இருந்திருப்பார். அதனால தான் அவரை எக்ஸாமின் பண்ண விடல வாட்சன் ஹோம்ஸ். Next question. What did Watson find on the table near the mantelpiece? Watson found an ivory box on the table near the mantelpiece. Next, who arrested Smith? What were the changes against him? Inspector Morton arrested Smith. Smith was the murderer of his nephew Savage and he attempted to murder Holmes. Okay, students. All the lessons, 7 lessons இருக்கிற எல்லா 2 marksமே இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் மார்க்ஸ்லாம் பார்த்துருக்கோம். இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தாமே உங்களுக்கு மோஸ்ட்டாக நீங்கள் அட்டென்ட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். இதில் தான் கேட்பாங்க 2 marks. பாயிண்ட் 2 to 3 பாயிண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கிற மாதிரி எழுதுங்க. நீட்டாக ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணுங்கள். உங்களுக்கு இது ரொம்பவே ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்திருக்கும்னு நம்புகிறோம். ஓகே ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் வாட்சிங். வில் see you next video. All the best for your exam, students. Bye.